Upgrades.
Yo, what up out there, people? Back again yet for another episode of Heavenly Delusion anime series. This is episode 7. Another banger, man. Another crazy episode. Again, this will be spoiler filled. So if you have not seen episode 7, go and watch it. Come back to this, and we're gonna go and try to mud through some of the craziness that was episode 7. Episode 7, I'm gonna say like it was nightmare fuel. It gave me Akira vibes as well as Attack on Titan vibes. I think like the 5th episode of Attack on Titan, first season, it took me out. I was like, nah, bro. I quit that joint after what happened to Eren Yeager. And I was like, are they about to Eren Yeager me right now? Are they really about to take out Kiruko? And it was interesting because like the setup for the episode was fascinating because they were like, oh, okay, we're gonna be like man eaters for hire, man eater killers for hire, and like they were both going back and forth for different ways they can put signs up, and then they go and start fishing, and somebody sees them across the way and kind of wants to bring them there, and it's this doctor, and you don't really know what the doctor's intent is. But you kind of get a grasp that something devious is going on just from what experimentations is going on. And also, it was even more interesting is that the people that were working for him were surprised. They were like, "Oh, you don't want me to kill these kids? Cool. You want me to bring them in? Okay, whatever that looks like." And so when the beginning of the episode happened, like I was like, oh, "Okay, maybe they're not as bad as you think." Like you get these random radicalists that are kind of protesting, but you find out that's not the Imperial Order; it's somebody else. Now, when they got with these radicalists, it was really weird because the radicalists to me kind of seemed like a cult. Like they weren't well put together because their perspective is that everything that this organization is doing is not logical, like it's unethical, and it is some devious stuff that's actually happening. And somebody gave an eyewitness account to seeing like an entity still alive with like barely nothing and basically wanted to get out or be killed. And so that action, I believe it was just how hysterical the leader was. Like, we don't need technology. Technology is this and that. And I was like, I don't know. This doesn't. It seems off. The interesting thing I loved about this episode was the character interaction of Maru and Kiruko because Kiruko, in my opinion, was emotionally compromised. It just Miro was able to see it. It was, I think, a moment where I think they were in the bathtub. Well, no, he was putting wood for her to get a hot bath, which is very nice. Um, and like they, it gets so confusing. I'm sorry. They go and are talking, but they're putting their hair up like this, and you can see the divots in where, like, they were like literally dissected essentially and put into a whole nother body. Everything about the doctor is very fascinating because they've done everything except for what happened to her, which I think is a very specific thing. Like, it was written that way because they experimented with technology, experimented trying to overlay man eaters on top of humans, but no human components taken and put into another human, which is fascinating. And I think it's the same exact doctor, honestly. I really do. Because later on in the episode, of course, they do reveal kind of what the doctor looks like. And the weird thing is they have the same exact eye color, same as that hairstyle. It's just he's younger. And I think maybe he's found a way for immortality. And it's interesting because the scar that was on, I think, his eye was on that same as that guy, but I don't know. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Now, again, I've said it before in episodes past. Their relationship is so complicated because, again, I do think that there are moments, and he said it. Like he actually said what I was thinking last episode. He said that you're starting to act more like your sister, and this is something that your sister would say. And they were like, no, like da 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 da, and he could tell like it was off because even when that happened, I was like, they didn't even cover up in front of him and just kind of walked aside like very irritated. And I was like, I wonder if there's certain characteristics of her sister that are imprinted on her because she's in her sister's, because they are in their sister's body, or if like is an actual metamorphosis going. I still personally don't think that the sister's dead, but again, I don't I don't know. Now, where this episode got crazy is where they were saying, okay, we need to go and take out the man eaters that's in this basement. You're gonna hire to do it. They got in there, and it looked really weird because there's barely any man eaters there, and it was like small little spuds everywhere, and then one big gigantic one. And all of a sudden, all heck breaks loose, and they're ambushed and they're surrounded, and the gun didn't even work. And at this moment right here, I was like, okay, somebody's gonna sweep in. Maru is gonna have like this awakening and stop it. But I think it was the moment where their hand was caught up by one of the small ones and was ripped off. I was like, this ain't ReZero. Like, you don't get a do-over here. Like, maybe because I was like, maybe this is the moment they're gonna get another body part. Again, great writing because 2 episodes or 3 episodes back, he got his tooth knocked out, right? And it's like this is a main character that doesn't happen, right? And so when this happened, I was like, dog, this character gonna have to go around the rest of this series without a hand, and they got to use technology to like work it out. Like, but then I started to see them get dissected, like got hand ripped off, body parts get ripped off, toes get ripped off, and I was like, oh my god, like it was bad. Like I was low key traumatized by that, and then. All of a sudden, like they closed their eyes and they thought that was it. And of course, Maru came to the rescue with a confused relationship with the kids. Now, of course, Kiruko pulled away and they both were thrown off. But I guess he was trying to find something to get them out of it because he found out that the creature was basically taking over their mind, and that was the reason why all that was happening. But nonetheless, it was like, this is crazy. This is freaking crazy. So I didn't know what was about to go down, but they ended up stopping it. But then that's when the doctor showed up at the end. The other thing about this is Tokyo and everything that's going on with Heaven never showed up in this episode, which leads me to believe the next episode is probably going to be a continuation of this one because this is the first episode. It's not this dual thing. And other thing I love is that every single episode, I ask questions about something. I want something, they give it to me in the next episode. The last episode, I was like I like this going back and forth with, Tokyo and everything. But I kind of want to just linger with Maru and Kiruko for now. And sure enough, they did that with the full episode. So I love this great balancing act they're doing as far as the written side of stuff. And it wasn't predictable. I thought it was going to be very predictable where things were going to go, but no, like they definitely worked it out. So this is another good episode. This is another banger. Let me know what you guys think of it. Make sure you like, subscribe to the bell button. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Until episode 8. Peace, people. Filing out the top of I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on my mind. Oh, Lord.